Good evening, family. What is up? Welcome to 2026. My Mind is My Business Speaker Chats. I am so excited to have y'all here with us tonight. Tonight, y'all, I have an amazing guest that I'm super excited about. When we talk about collaborations, y'all, this collaboration is over the top exciting. And I cannot wait for y'all to hear a little bit tonight about our collaboration. But before I get started, if you have not gotten your tickets, now is the time to get your tickets. We have so many great things that will be going on in the room. The entire weekend is going to be dope. Okay. So you definitely need to be in the room the entire weekend. However, we have some fun things going on the entire weekend. So for those of you who are VIP guests, we kick off Friday night in the She Suite with a fun candle and flower making activity that gives you something to take home. We have VIP bags for you that will be filled with goodies, especially some goodies from Black Girl Vitamins, who is one of our sponsors. And we're so excited that they are joining us as a partner. We really, really love their products, and so it's great. Saturday is all day sessions. We are going to go in on mental health, business, faith, clarity, leadership, all of those things. We are going to be touching and tackling on Saturday. And then Sunday, it is our first ever brunch, and it's called the Soft Reset Awards Brunch. And we are actually honoring four people who we think have really made strides in the mental health industry, either through their communities or either through the work that they do themselves. They've maybe had a comeback from something. So we're excited about this weekend. I cannot wait to see y'all next weekend. Can y'all believe it's next weekend? Like, can y'all believe that it is next weekend that we will be hanging out? We will be having such a great time. I'm super excited. I cannot wait for y'all to be in the room. Again, go get your tickets. You do not want to miss out on this experience. And any of you who have been to My Mind is My Business um, in previous years, you know what kind of vibe it is. Y'all know how we get down and how we have fun in the room. And so we definitely want you to make sure that you are not missing out on anything. There's a bunch of networking and collaboration that goes on in the room. We have a lot of things that are happening. We don't only talk to you about the mental health aspects, but we talk to you about business, how you can scale. We want you to leave with the tools, tips, and strategies needed in order for you to be able to maintain or sustain a healthy, mentally well business lifestyle. Okay, that's what we're about. We are definitely about you getting in the room with like minded people who can help you get what you need. Our speaker chats the other nights have been amazing. You've met some of the people virtually who will be in the room. That's just a touch of what's going to be happening in the room. Okay, that's just a little touch. So I definitely want you all to get your tickets. Make sure that you are tapped in. Because listen, you want to be in this room. Okay? You want to be in this room. It is going to be so much fun. So I am waiting for our guests to join. In the meantime, if any of you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat because we can see some of your comments and can respond, you know, during that time. However, we are definitely looking forward to seeing you all. Like, we're excited. I'm over the moon excited to talk with y'all. So let's see. I see my guest has joined backstage. Let's see. We'll go ahead and add her to the stream. Let's see.
Can go back to it.
Hey, Tana. We working
Hi.
on something?
Yeah, do you see me?
I can't see you.
Here we are. Good. Yeah, we had a little bit of problems getting the link to work, but I'm here.
Excited. Like,
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
yes, super excited to have this conversation with you. But I was just telling the people about our collaboration a little bit. Like, this has been an amazing experience from inception to like where we are now. Like, we're about to blow their minds. They have no idea what we
Yeah,
have in store for them.
I'm really excited. Like you don't get very many chances to like just be extra, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and I haven't been to this event before, but I can tell that it's a place to like let your extra out.
Yes.
And I like chances to do that. I'm really looking forward to that. Not
Yes.
holding back.
Yes, exactly. So I'm super excited. Let's kick off with you telling the folks who you are and talk a little bit about Nirvana because of course, I have my device like right here. It is never too far from me. It's with me at work, in the truck. It's our lifeline, Tyler. Like we live this life, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like, I'm in my office right now and I see patients all day long and I have patients that need it all day
Right,
long.
right.
And it helps with so much. I get to see it help people on a daily basis. And it's such an honor. And I can't stop talking about it.
Yes, I
And
love
I
it.
don't want to. I don't intend to.
Exactly. We're not going to.
I'm not
Okay.
trying to. Yeah. It's hopeless. So just accept it,
Definitely. So kick off and tell everyone who you are and talk a little bit about Nirvana.
Yeah. Thank you, LaKisha. So I'm Tana Young. I'm a nurse practitioner specializing in psychiatry. I've been practicing psychiatry for going on 7 years now. And only fairly recently in the last year did I start Nirvana because I've seen it be so amazing for my patients. Mental health, I never expected to love it so much. It's been just an honor. And one of the most joyful things in my life, it's been my career, that it was just this wonderful thing that I just didn't see coming. And then, I'm 5+ years in, having a great time, helped thousands of people with anxiety, insomnia, depression, so many things. And then I find out that there's been this amazing tool that helps with all of those things, that it's been available since 1979 and I never knew about it. And so since adding that to my practice, and seeing how helpful it is, started Nirvana, met you saw the magic, and we share the same confusion about like what, where, why, how do we not know about this? Right. And especially like me being in the mental health space, I don't understand why it's not more well known in that space.
Right.
So that's why we get up in the morning at Nirvana, to make
Exactly.
it well known.
Exactly. I love it. Like, I don't think people understand. They won't know until, they get
Mhm.
there. But
Yeah.
it is such an amazing device that I use it in the most high stress situations.
Mhm.
And I think the beauty of it is I don't have to go to a quiet space to use this. It is
Yeah.
a tool that I can use in the midst of whatever. Anybody live in Houston know traffic is like bananas. Traffic
Yeah, it is. My
is,
son lives there.
yes.
Mhm.
So traffic
Yeah.
gives me anxiety
I'll
sometimes.
bet it does.
Just
Yeah.
anxiety. I can
Yeah.
put this on and people may think I'm listening to something. I am literally just
Yeah.
zoned
Well, it's
out.
discreet that way. Like it
Yeah,
looks just like wired headphones.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's part of the beauty of it, is that you can use it anywhere. It's very discreet. There's nowhere that it would be in it. I mean, you could use it at church, you could use it in your car, you could use it at work, you know? And that's one of the great things about it, is that it's so accessible,
Right.
discreet. You can take it anywhere. And it's something, someone pointed out something the other day that I think was a really great thing to include, which is, we've talked about, LaKisha, about, meditation, prayer, nature walks, all of the, breathing exercises, and those are all great.
Right.
The difference is, though, is that those are like an active process, something that you apply your will to.
Yes.
This, I mean, maybe the will of hooking it on,
That's
and turning
it.
it on, but
Yeah.
that's it. It's
Yeah.
a different approach. Those other things are great.
Right.
They're all great, but this is something that doesn't require as much active
Right.
decision making. It can
Right.
just like put your body, because sometimes you get so elevated that you kind of stop thinking. That frontal lobe
Yeah.
shuts down when the fight or flight kicks in.
Right. Exactly. I love that you mentioned meditation because I was a huge proponent of meditation, and we actually had a meditation studio here in Houston. It wound up closing, but we actually had one here. And I can tell you it's a different type of uh like going away, if you want to use that word. Like it's a different
Yeah.
level of zoning out. But what I found was it was temporary. It
Mhm.
didn't work or didn't last like all week or maybe even all day. Whereas if something stressed me out, okay, well then I need to go get in the cot again, the little swinging thing again, so that I can be okay. How practical is that? It's not very practical. But
Uh-huh.
if I use this in the morning and then I'm in a meeting and I'm getting stressed out, I can pop this on
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to get the same effects that I got this morning driving to work that I can right now in this meeting. And people may say, "Oh, what is she listening to music?" No, I'm trying to tune you out right now. I'm trying to get
I love that. Those things that we think but we don't say,
that we can't say.
Yeah, but
But
I hope you don't hold back on too much of those things, because that's my favorite part about you is
no, I don't.
the
I
honesty,
don't hold back too much. Yeah, I don't hold back too much. So let's get into some conversation. I feel like it's really different and it's not new because you're actually in this, you're doing this, but it's nervous system health. We haven't talked about what that is, especially if you're a high achieving woman. If you are a C-suite or higher business owner, no one's talking about nervous system health. They don't even know what it is. So let's talk a little bit about that and the work you do around that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, like, I think that it's great to look at the cognitive approach when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to mental health. That's always an important component. That's important to do the cognitive work. But something that is maybe undervalued, under recognized is like the nervous system, the physiological component. Um, and so there is literally a current. There's a current in the body that occurs with different emotional states. There's that fight or flight state that you mentioned. That's a nervous system state, and it's very important that we have that, because it's something that we've needed to adapt and to be able to respond appropriately to threats. But there's also a calm state. There's a nervous system calm state, and sometimes, even though intellectually you may know, hey, we're safe,
Right.
everything's okay, the body doesn't get that memo. And the nervous system, LaKisha, is the bridge between those two, between the um, interpretation of the data that comes to the nervous system and the body. Okay, so the nervous system is the connection between the two. And the thalamus in particular is kind of the pacemaker of the emotions, like kind of an emotional pacemaker.
Yeah.
And this right here can tell the thalamus, hey, because the thalamus is like what receives the information and then interprets it, and then tells your brain what that state is. And so you
Right.
may have the physiological experience of things aren't right, and then your
Yep.
brain will write a story that matches it, and that's what anxiety will do. Okay,
Right.
so this sends a different message of
Yeah.
calm, and then you can write the calm story.
Exactly. Exactly. Which is so needed now. I mean, the world is almost like a dumpster fire at this point. If you got in an uproar, and I mean, even as women, we are a different group of people of how we take in information, how
Mm-hmm.
we disseminate it out, but also how we process
Mhm.
information as well. It's very key for your nervous system to be regulated as much as possible.
Yeah, agreed. And you mentioned meditation, and that's a discipline. That's
Right.
it's a skill that people build, and I think it's wonderful, and I highly encourage it. But that is sometimes something that it's hard to do anyway, right? But
Yes.
especially when the thinking's gone and you're just reacting, right?
Right.
And this is a shortcut to that brain state. I don't
Right.
think there's any shortcut to learning, the skill, to the discipline, the practice,
Right.
but to be able to put your brain into that brain state. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I have heard from experienced meditators that if they add this while they're meditating, they're able to go deeper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was excited to hear that. Like, I was talking to someone who said she sees colors when she meditates,
Mm-hmm.
and she was meditating as normal, but she did it with this on. And she said the colors got way brighter and she was able to just get deeper faster than she ordinarily does.
Mm.
And she told me I could share that.
I love that because I mean, I
Did
was doing
you?
meditation and I was doing the one where we would actually be in the cot, and that was my favorite one. Like the sitting up was okay, but to be suspended in air
Oh.
was really the different one for me. And I could go there and just be out of there. It was more like waterfalls for me.
Hmm.
um when I was meditating, and then when I would come out, of course I'd be really calm, but I understand that I have a high stress job as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, but also my job sometimes can be very high stress, and I live with a mental health condition, high functioning depression. So all of that mixed in together, anything could
Mhm.
trigger me. But I know when I get triggered, the first thing I can do is go to the device, because
Mhm.
I've always been a proponent against medication for myself. I've seen how it did other people. And I know you and I are not even here to convince people one way or the other. I just
Mhm.
know that this is something that doesn't have side effects that I've heard that other people have experienced when they take medication.
Absolutely right, LaKisha. Like, nobody is gaining weight from CES. Nobody's having sexual side effects. No
Yeah.
one's having withdrawal effects. No one is, having the nausea. Like, all of the things. Because I'm a prescriber, LaKisha. I
Yeah.
prescribe medications all day long. I'm happy to do it, and I think they have their time and place.
Right.
But I think that it's gotten out of hand in that it's not the only tool in the toolbox.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know and there are other things that are either just as good or outperform depending on the situation. Now, this
Right.
is a medical device, so is a pacemaker, so are crutches. Not everybody needs a pacemaker. Not everybody
Right.
needs. Do pacemakers
Exactly.
work? You betcha. So do
Right.
crutches. So does this. That's not in question. It's
Right.
been clinically validated. It works. Not every single person in the whole wide world needs it, but it does work.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you're a person who has anxiety, maybe it's something that would be helpful for you.
Right. Right. Exactly. Y'all, I can't say enough how much I love the device, but I think we share communities in a way as far as like women that are high functioning. And I
Mhm.
really believe that, and I said this to my therapist on Friday and he laughed at me and I was like, I think all women are high functioning. I think all women, even
Yeah.
if you don't have the full blown case of it like mine was just extreme. But I feel like we all have some characteristics of high functioning. So that's the majority of this community that's high
Yeah.
functioning. We look
Yeah.
fine from the outside, Tona, but we are a mess.
Yeah,
Honey.
well, that's the thing. It's like it's so easy to make the mistake of thinking, like, when you're in a stressful state or when you're worried about something, to think that your experience is unique,
Right.
but it's not. Everybody experiences those things, but we're not talking about it, except
Right.
that's one of the things I appreciate about your message. Is not just that you're talking about it, which of course I do appreciate that too, but you're talking about it in a different context,
Right.
in the context of business performance.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the importance of, like, attending to your emotional needs, your emotional self and tendencies in order to be a better business person.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
that is a conversation that isn't common, that I'm
Right.
happy to support and be a part of.
Thank you, because I feel like you have a tool that helps not just women, because we're not saying
No.
men can't have it. We want y'all to get it too.
Well, yeah, men can have it too. Then yeah, they're just not part of this particular
Right.
audience per se.
Exactly.
But
We love
it's
y'all too.
yeah,
Right.
all genders, ages. It's safe
Yes.
for and useful for everybody.
Yes. Yes. We love them too. I love your messaging around the nervous system and how we need to start really paying attention to it. Because I feel like we pay attention if there's a sprain. We may sometimes talk
Mhm.
about heart health, but we don't put the same energy or have the same conversations around nervous system, which is our regulatory system. I mean, if we were
Yeah.
in science and we paid attention, they told us that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize how much your emotional state is also a physiological state.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you before how like when I really got it when I was in grad school and I was working in primary care, and a woman came in, and she was a Hispanic woman. I know we've talked about how like some communities aren't as uh,
Yes.
open to discussing mental health, and I think the Hispanic community is another area where it's emerging. And she thought she was having some cardiac condition. And I asked her about her symptoms and such. And I asked her, do you have a history of anxiety? And she said, oh, no, this is not mental. This is physical. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, I know it is. I know anxiety is a very physical condition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that was very representative of what a lot of people think is what mental health is that it's just a physical thing. I mean, I'm sorry, a mental thing, and that physical isn't going to be part of that
Right.
you just because you can feel an emotion, and they think that doesn't then lead to physical experiences. It
Right.
absolutely does.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I've shared my story, this was probably 2 years after I had even started My Mind is My Business. So just imagine, like at that time, my network probably wasn't as big as it is now, but I had clinicians and therapists at my fingertips. But I was just feeling really, really weird. And I did go to my doctor. I was like, I need a pill or something. Something's not right here. This hurt, that hurt, this hurt. And she was like, severely depressed. And I was like, not me. So here I am.
Yeah.
Someone as an advocate, I had already started my advocacy work at this time, Tana. So I was already like in the spaces where, especially my community, I wanted the Black community to know that it was okay. As a preacher's kid, that, I'm
Yep.
trying to fight all these stigmas, but yet I was in her office fighting the very thing that I was
Yeah.
pushing for.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
I,
we don't want it to apply to us. Just
yeah,
it's something we're compassionate to other people. It's okay for you, but me, no.
yeah,
I'm too strong for
not
that.
me. The
No,
person who's putting on the mental health events, the person who is the mental health advocate. No, not me.
no, never. No. Yeah. None of us, not me either.
Yeah, not me. So for the people in the audience, we focus women, but it's anyone. Can you talk about like what's really actually happening to people when they're always in this constant state of go, 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 overdrive, just grind, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle? What's really happening?
Yeah, well, cortisol's going,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that's talked about a lot. And I have actually seen people develop autoimmune conditions as a result of long-term stress. There's all kinds of physiological conditions for like there's an anemia of chronic disease, which is like the
Mm-hmm.
stress on the body makes it so like they have a hard time making enough red blood cells, so they literally have anemia. There is so many downstream effects that occur in the body as a result of emotional stressors.
Wow.
Yeah, and fight or flight. People talk about fight, flight, freeze.
Right.
And that's when like, the nervous system does what it does. And it, in some states or in some situations, it's very adaptive,
Right.
but it's been something through the years that's been so essential to survival that it's gotten out of hand.
Right.
And,
Right.
it kind of stays in that, and we're seeing like it stays in that state for when it doesn't need to. We're
Yeah.
seeing it like more of a condition called POTS, which is
Mm-hmm.
postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. That one is very linked to anxiety. That's when your blood pressure doesn't adjust back to its normal state. It stays in like
My goodness.
dilated blood vessels.
Yeah.
There's just so many downstream physical effects, and people know that, like they know the things about cortisol and
Right.
stress, but yet we don't see it when we're like, no, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I like about conversations like this, is we get to bring those things to the forefront and make it more well known. And also, what I like about CES is that it's another tool in the toolbox.
Right.
I'm not anti-medication. I'm not anti anything that is helpful for people. I'm
Exactly.
pro options.
Right.
And this has earned its seat at the table.
Yes.
It has earned its place in the toolbox.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's not very well known.
Right. Right. But we about to change the game on
We're
that.
changing that. That's right.
We are changing. Tana,
Uh-huh.
you have, first of all, just being a founder and looking at this device and seeing just the beauty of it and the benefits of it. That's step number one. Like, you definitely have like changed the game when it comes to that. Now I feel like the whole messaging is around, okay, so as a practitioner, as a clinician, if you're a prescriber, whatever, these are some options. Not saying stop whatever else you are doing, but these are some options that you could potentially offer your clients when they come in, as opposed to, you may have one that may be like me, that's like, I don't want no medication. I don't know what you're going to do with me, but I'm not taking any medication. Like something to that effect. Like, you're giving other options.
Yeah. And, I have a lot of people who they'll take anything I tell them to take. I don't tell people to take it, but they're like, give me all the stuff. If it can help me, I want it. That's a lot of people are right. And so people take it in addition to medications, and sometimes instead of. And sometimes I still recommend a medication, but like you, they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. And okay, well, this might be a good replacement.
Right. Exactly. Just the conversations. I love that you're open to the conversations. I love that you and I can jump on anything. Y'all, we'd have been on so many podcasts, just piggybacking.
I like it. Well, I guess I would think, LaKisha, that if your friends probably don't want you to be too calm and too regulated, because you're probably so much fun for them. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, you can give her a little bit of medication. You can give her a little bit of that CES, but not so much. We like the personality.
Sassy one. The sassy.
And that's the last thing I would ever want, is to, kill someone's personality. We're not trying to numb somebody out.
And but I think that's another part that I'm so glad you brought that up, that whereas medication alters some states, I noticed I'm still as quick-witted as I was, but maybe I won't cuss you out as fast. Maybe maybe I won't, go there like my responses or just kind of normal. I was in a conversation last week with someone around my event, and I was not happy, but my voice was even. And so even people that were with me that was like, oh, she about to go off. Like, she about to go nuclear. I had already I knew it was going to be a tough conversation. So I had already had my device, and I was good. And I to where I was going, and I was like, so this is how it needs to be. This is what I want. And it was it wasn't even a back and forth, Tony. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was literally like,
you weren't reacting, you were acting, and you can still choose to cuss people out. You can still choose to go with the nuclear option, but do it from a rational state.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this keeps your body both feet on the floor.
Yep.
And you can show up and make values-based decisions because
Right.
you're in a regulated state. You mentioned, you say all the time, what you say, like, oh gosh, I forgot what, like, something before something. I forgot it all of a sudden.
Oh,
Be,
one of my saying, I ain't no telling what
yeah,
I be saying, Tom.
no, you say before making. Gosh, I forgot. It slipped my mind at the moment. But about decision making.
Oh yeah, that we have to regulate before strategy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Regular, before like important decisions, like
Yeah.
have both feet on the ground.
Yes.
Because I don't know about you, but I make a lot of important decisions every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want my decisions to be in alignment with the mission and
Right.
with my values and my priorities, and not just based on how I'm feeling in that moment,
Right. Right.
like reactive anyway.
Exactly. So that was another thing that I felt like that made us like a match in heaven, because when we talk about Soft Simple CEO and that entire framework, it talks about leading from a place of softness. It talks about being this regulated founder or leader. And I'm still fighting these comments of, well, soft appears to be weak. And I'm like, no, soft is really strategy. It's using a
Mhm,
level of discernment to make decisions, to
mhm,
execute calmly, to be able to use softness as a leadership skill. So when I show up in the room, you're not looking for rah rah LaKisha. You're like, okay, she's the Soft Simple CEO. So I know when
mhm.
she comes in, even if she's firm and direct, it's coming from a place of softness that's very
Yeah,
regulated. People hear you better when you talk that way.
yeah, yeah. Well, and if someone wants to think Lakeisha's weak, I'd say go for it. See how that turns out for you.
It ain't gonna work out for
I mean, try it, see how that goes. you know, yeah. I mean, I'm very much about my mission when it comes
her.
to business. Like, what's the mission? And
Right.
I'm trying to let the mission lead, let the
Yeah.
mission guide me. I've been very intentional about how I'm very much about the mission with Nirvana and with my career.
Right.
And it's hard to see the mission if you're just reactive, if you're just caught up in the emotion. There is a feeling that comes with that,
Right.
but it's not the same as like when certain parts of your brain shut down as they're supposed to, because everything about fight or flight is about prioritizing mobilization, optimizing the ability to mobilize. And so just sending blood to the legs and things, and shutting down the frontal lobe,
Right.
just act. And that's not a time to be making important decisions.
Right.
I tell people, hey, because I see people in all kinds of states right here in my office. And sometimes I say, listen, okay, girlfriend, like, just don't do things, don't cut bangs right
Right.
now. You know, like, if you want to, like, you break up your boyfriend tomorrow,
Right.
if
Right.
he's a jerk, he's still a jerk tomorrow. If
Mm-hmm.
cutting bangs is a good idea, it's still a good idea tomorrow. But wait until you are not in this elevated state to make
Right.
those decisions.
Right.
And this helps you stay grounded in that state and be able to
Exactly.
make important decisions, which we have to do all the time.
Exactly. I love that you just said that, because as founders, a lot of times we are making a lot of decisions. And a lot of times we're making decisions from this place of anxiety. We're rushed, we're reactive, as you put it. We're more
Mhm.
reactive than anything.
Yeah, and that's not where the best decisions are made.
Right.
And sometimes we do get we have to make some really extreme decisions or make some really big pivots, but it's hard to do that in a way that is really in alignment with your priorities, or do things that aren't just impulsive, if
Yeah.
you're just always level 10. Some
Right.
people just live in gas pedal mode.
Yeah.
How long would your car last if it never got to idle?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
well,
exhausting.
some people just don't know how to access that idle function or the
Right.
screensaver function, on your computer or your TV.
Right.
It's just going to wear out. It's not going to be at its best functioning. And so
Right.
what CS does is it puts your brain in that brain
Yep.
state of calm and allows you to, be more familiar with that space. And
Exactly.
then brains are very habitual.
Yeah.
So make it more familiar with that calm space,
Right.
use it regularly, and then it trains it to like go there
Right.
and find it
Exactly.
and access that space better.
Right. Y'all, I can't say enough about how much I love the device and how it's really changed how the trajectory of my business, how I'm able to move about and do a lot of different things that probably would have been harder for me because I'm high functioning and crisis is
Mhm.
real. For anyone as a practitioner, crisis is somewhere people do not want to go. Like you just don't come back very easy. But I have a tool that helps me stay out of that, especially in the sense of like calm execution. So last night the guest talked about capacity and awareness. And
Mhm.
I feel like Tana that some people don't are not self-aware because they're always in overdrive. You
Yeah.
can't come out of
Mhm.
that enough to be like, okay, so I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm this, I'm that. Like, how do you feel like the device kind of helps people become more self-aware and honor their capacity as leaders?
Yeah, there's a lot to that question. Lakeisha, there's a point I think that's really important in everybody's emotional, like mental health journey, where once you realize that the problems aren't out here, but they're in here, they're in here,
Mm-hmm.
everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about how you, interact with out here changes. And
Right.
so when you realize, okay, the way that I'm showing up for this, the way that I'm interpreting this, the meanings that I'm putting on this are the problem. And then there's the reactions that are going to occur in the body when those interpretations are made.
Right.
And so this helps, it helps a person bring their body and their intentions into alignment.
Right. Yep.
Like you want to be calm and
Yes.
intellectually you know that there's reason to be, but the
Mm-hmm.
body doesn't get the memo.
Right.
And this literally, you give the brain the current of calm, and then
Exactly.
it knows what to do with it. And people don't realize, like a lot of people, like, oh, is this, it's electricity, is it like electric shock? And it's not anything like that.
Nope.
But let's not make any mistake, Lakeisha. Like, the language of the nervous system is electricity. That
Right.
is how messages are sent in the central nervous system. It's already
Mm-hmm.
happening. And sometimes it needs a pacemaker.
Yes.
And that's what this does. We
And
call it an action potential. It's sodium and potassium moving across cell membranes, and that causes an electrical current.
right.
So it's already happening. It's not like we're putting an electrical current into something that already doesn't have one.
Right.
We're giving it one that is the current of calm.
Right, exactly. I so you briefly touched on this, but I think a lot of people may miss this when we talk about this device and how amazing it is. When you are in high stress situations, my brain and my body now don't immediately go to like, girl, crash out. It doesn't go there anymore. It does
Yeah.
go through this process of, okay, so what are we going to do
Mhm.
in this moment? How
Yep.
are we going to react or show up or whatever words you may
Yeah.
use? So it's kind of reprogrammed entirely how it is. I've noticed that normally, like if there's a bad situation where I need to have a hard conversation with somebody, it used to just come out and baby, you got whatever
Mhm.
you got when it was that conversation. Now it may take me days
Yeah.
to
Well, yeah.
really do that.
And I'm really glad you said that, because that's what I was talking about before, but I was being too clinical. And so I'm glad that you brought it to the lived experience, which is, you just showed like how your brain is able to access that space
Yep.
more easily. You didn't do that. You didn't put the device, you didn't put it on in that moment,
Right.
but you were more familiar with that brain state,
Mm-hmm.
and you used it repeatedly, especially in the beginning. Your brain got more familiar and it was able to form a new habit, because brains are
Right.
just, they're so habitual. And so you're able to just access that calm space a lot
Right.
more easily because your brain is more familiar with that space. It's not
Exactly.
just a nice place to visit, but I don't ever get to stay here. It can
Right.
actually move in. It can have a summer home there. If it can
Exactly.
have a second home. It can live there all the time.
Right. Exactly. And it's so calming, y'all, to be calm. Like, it is so cool to not always be on edge, even in high stress situations. And trust me, if you ever plan an event, honey,
Yeah. Oh, I
yes,
know. I don't have it in me.
it is high stress. I literally was telling our marketing team, I said, y'all, I got so many videos that I need to send them about me just sitting at my computer, like responding to emails or
Mhm.
creating something, but it's not so much a panic anymore
Yeah.
of doing these things.
Mhm.
There's this
Mhm.
level of calm execution that I'm able to have. And I wish more people operated that way. It
Yeah.
allowed me to not be so last minute with things because my brain knows that I don't function well when there are last minute things that needs to be done. So it's really a way of just reshaping not only just how you do business, but your life in general, how you interact with other people.
Exactly, LaKisha. We've talked about this in different contexts, like you're a very strong, like values-based individual. You have a strong value system. You've got religion, you've got your business, and you've got like just your overall message. And it sounds like you are just better able to show up for that and actually act intentionally in alignment with that because you're not flipping out all the time.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
not just in reactive mode all the time.
Right. Right. And it's exhausting, Tana, to like now that I look back at on all the years your girl was like the crash out queen, I'm like, girl, weren't you tired of just crashing out all the doggone time? Like, it's
Oh.
exhausting. And I don't think we think about what it takes for our bodies to reset, to like
And how
come
much
back.
energy is wasted?
Yes.
Like it's like you have important things that you're doing,
Right.
but when you're like this all the time,
Right.
like you're wearing yourself out, and there's only so much Lakeisha to go around in a day. There's only
Exactly.
so much Tana to go around in a day, and I don't
Exactly.
need to be wasting energy spinning out,
Right.
and neither do you.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the work needs us.
Yes, we got lives to save. We got a world to conquer. We do
We
not
got
have
we
time.
have, I'm having a great time.
Right. We don't have time to do that. And I'm telling people, like, it is such a game changing device of where if you so like, I never struggle with insomnia, but I know that if I'm having trouble sleeping, that's going to be a part. It's a part of my routine. It's like morning. When I'm in the morning time, when I'm doing devotion, I normally have it on. So already in the presence of God, there's
That's a
peace that
great
I
time to
have.
do it. Yeah. Mhm.
But I really can get there when I have that on as I'm reading my Bible and I'm going through my devotional
Mhm.
time. So there's
Mhm.
really not a day that goes by. People know me,
Yeah.
know I hate to fly. Lord, I hate to fly. But this device helps me be super calm. Tana, I am the girl on the plane with her sunglasses on. And if I see the pilot come out of the cockpit, I'm like, where you going?
Yeah.
I need you to get back in the
Excuse me.
sir. Where are
You
you
don't get
going?
to go to the bathroom or eat. Get back in there. Pay attention to what you're doing. You're fine.
Right. But now I'm not even paying attention. When
Yeah.
I first started flying, I used to ride in the airplane with my eyes closed. I'm like, what I need to see? I don't need to see anything up there. If I want to see clouds, I can Google them. I don't need to see anything. But now I'm like, oh, I want the window seat and I want to see the clouds. Like we went to
Yeah.
Cancun in
Yeah.
January and I had the shade up. I'm looking all outside like, oh my God,
Mhm.
that would have never been me before this.
Yeah, I always say that a good mental health regimen, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're talking about medications, we're talking about devices. It doesn't matter what we're talking. A good mental health regimen
Right.
makes you feel more like yourself.
Yes.
Like we're not trying to turn anyone into Superman,
Right.
we're not trying to turn anyone numb. We're not trying to kill personality. Like,
Right.
because when your mental health is not well managed, you're like, "Well, that's not me. Why am I acting that way? Why
Right.
did I make that decision? That's not who I am." But
Yep.
when you are when your mental health is appropriately managed, you're just yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and that's really what I'm always going for. And what I heard from you is like, okay, you don't necessarily enjoy flying, but there are things that are important enough to you to
Right.
do something that's unpleasant. And this helps you show up for that in a way
Exactly.
where you can at least tolerate flying, because
Exactly.
you know that you're safe, but you're able to like do more. Like you mentioned capacity, and it increases your capacity is
Right.
what I heard you say.
Exactly. Yeah, and it also helps me when we speak about alignment. Um,
Mhm.
Thinking with my value system and knowing what is important to me, I can say no to those things that are not in alignment. And I can say it with a smile. I can say it without being mean or nasty. Just thank you for thinking of me, but right now that's not in alignment with where I am. Like
Yeah.
nothing bad, or I'm not taking on more things that
Mhm.
again that I don't have the capacity for because I just want to do it. Like I can speak from this calm place of not right now.
Yeah, yeah, because you're able to maintain some clarity um, about what's the mission for today. What are the
Right,
priorities for today? We can't do all of it, and
right.
what we hope to do is we hope to be able to apply our energy to the things that are of highest value to us.
Exactly.
And there's
Exactly.
only so much of me to go around in a day, and I want to spend myself on
Right.
the things that are the most important things for me.
Exactly. Exactly. And
I don't
not
need to be wasting energy,
right.
neither you don't need to be wasting energy spinning out.
Yep, that's true. Yes. So I'm excited, Tana, because we are bringing something really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
special to the conference on the second day, day two, because day one is VIP. Like this has never before been done, y'all. Like
Nope, not even be I haven't yeah.
we have not again game changer, Tana. You are changing the game, my friend. Like for sure, for sure. So
Yeah.
we're gonna give it all away.
I know. I think I'm gonna need to let you lead out because I you can't trust me. I'm just telling you right now. You
So
cannot trust me. So
yeah,
you
so
lead take the lead on this.
yeah, we don't want to give it all away, but
Yeah.
we
That's I
want you
will.
to experience what what I've experienced. And in a way, Tana, I'm just like, we want y'all to feel this same. I hate to use the word euphoria because it's really not that. It's just a level state because you don't go up and come down with this. It's kind of just even. But we want you to experience like what me and Tana have been talking about. So we have something special for you at the event that Nirvana has created for you. I think I'm gonna post about it like next week. Like I'm gonna show them the whole space that you have designed for them. Y'all need to be in this room. And not only that, we have giveaways. Okay. Giveaways. Like, do you want your own? Like, do you want your own? Y'all, we just need them to be in the room, Tana. We need them to be in the room.
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's a great message, Lakeisha.
Yes.
Like, I'm honored to be there. Nirvana is proud to be a part of it. But even without Nirvana, what you've built is a really beautiful community. Your message is very beautiful and appropriate. And even just on its own merit, without me ever being there, it's going to be a great event. And what I understand from it is it's a very um, welcoming environment. There's a culture there of acceptance and where people, it's transformative for people. And that's a beautiful thing. And
Yes.
I think there's going to be a few men here and there in the room. I've seen a few, right? But for the most part, it's for women. And that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Nirvana is just going to be a really great add-on that I think will be something that can help a person really kind of solidify the
Yes.
things that they get there. And it can
Yes.
help them actually be better prepared for it.
Right.
And it can just be an enhancement to the experience and help them then carry that with them going forward.
Right, exactly. I mean, honestly, I know that you're being modest and you're saying this from your heart, like you're being very genuine, but this is an up level. This is an upgrade to my event. I feel like as a leader to not bring this experience to other people that I advocate for that who advocate for me, it would be doing them a disservice. And so I'm grateful. I just feel blessed to have you all in this space where, number one, they get to experience it, but they also get to ask questions. They get to dive deep about, okay, I'm considering this. What
Mhm.
more should I know? Like, they get more of an experience for it. And the beauty of it for me, most of my friends in this room are clinicians and
Mhm.
practitioners who have their
Yeah.
own practice. This could up level their
Mhm.
practice and their environment and what they are doing to
Yeah.
help them enhance and serve their clients better. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a godsend.
Mhm.
It is definitely a blessing to bring this
Yeah.
to the space. I definitely think it's needed.
Yeah, I love that. That's something that I love about this event too, is the opportunity for the ripple effects to be so far reaching that, it go way beyond our initial original work because, we'll be introducing something into people who are already in that mental health space. They already
Right,
have the patient relationships. They already have people that they can impact, and to give them another thing that they can offer the
right,
people that they care about, because they got into their professions because they wanted to help people.
right.
So to enhance their ability to help others, it's something that I'm really excited about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I am too. I just can see it, Tana. Just women walking around the boardroom with their devices. Like,
Hmm.
can you imagine creating an entire movement of
Hmm.
people, not just women, because of course I cater
No.
to women, but just people in general
Yeah, I mean,
having a different way of leading?
well, think about, like, what would America be like, Lakeisha, if there was one of these in every living room?
Yes,
What would change with, like, family
right,
dynamics if
exactly.
everyone had another way to bring it down a notch,
You're down.
you know, to stay
Exactly.
calm, like, how would the world change if there was one in even every other living room?
Exactly. Exactly. And we didn't even talk about the aspects for children. Touch a little
Mhm.
bit on that because I know
Love it
we
for
talk
kids.
about adults, but
Love it for kids. Love it, love it, love it for kids. Because a lot of times, especially with children, people are often very hesitant to medicate their child, and I'm very sympathetic to that.
yeah,
It's safe for everybody. You can't overdose on this. You
yeah,
can't
at
hurt
all.
yourself with this.
No, no,
Because it has. I mean, it does have a wire, right? So
right.
if the kid is so young that you can't, trust them to not do that, maybe that's probably where I would draw the line.
Right.
Or maybe don't let them use it on their own in that
Right.
case.
Right.
But for the most part, you know, I've prescribed it for lots of children. My
Right.
101-year-old grandma has one, and all the ages in between.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah,
mean, some of them got cell phones, Tana.
I know. I know. I
So if
know.
you have a
That's a
cell
whole other
phone,
conversation.
yes, you
What do
can
you need
have
a phone?
a CES device.
Like, we take care of everything for you. What do you need a phone for?
Exactly. Exactly. And most of them have phones. They got all kinds of other devices. So
Yeah.
to me,
And we
I
ask them
love,
for help with ours.
yeah,
How to use at least I do. Like,
yeah.
ask a 12-year-old how to help you with your stuff.
It's so many features. Like I remember when I went into full time entrepreneurship before I went back to work, and I was like, my phone rings all the time, and my daughter was like, "Well, put it on do not disturb," and I'm like, "Well, what is that?"
I
That was
know.
the best thing ever. When she showed me that, y'all, my phone
Yeah.
don't ring. If you get a call or text through, that's because you on emergency bypass, honey.
Mhm, mhm. I remember
That
when
was
they
the
taught
best
me how
thing
to.
ever. That was
Yeah,
the best thing ever.
yeah. And when I learned how to edit a text message after I'd sent it,
Yes.
that was a game changer for me because, I put a B accidentally at the end of every one of my text messages, and my kids laugh at me. I don't know what it is. I push B at the last minute, so now I can go and I can edit out the B.
Right. Yeah. See, these are things like for us, we're like, it's not that big of a deal. I know what I meant, but then other people are like, oh, that's so funny. Why did you do that? Like, I always send like the kind of scrunched up face emoji. It's like
Yeah.
first in my
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
first in my stickers. So when I go to it, if I'm typing and I may click it automatically, and someone like, wait, something's wrong, and I'm like, I go look at my message. I'm like, oh, my bad. No, I didn't mean to send
Yeah.
that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
I
love
didn't mean
this.
to send that
We
to
can
you.
just talk all day about anything. We're gonna have a great time when we
Yes,
talk.
it's gonna be so amazing. So to close us out, anybody that's sitting at home, they watching us right now, and like they're exhausted, but they keep pushing through. Like, what is one thing that you want them to hear from our conversation tonight?
Mm, yeah, that's a good question. You know, something that I say a lot, I think, to people is, hey, it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah,
You know, life is hard, and that can be a very good thing. You know,
yeah,
like we're not the comfort zone is not the growth zone. You know,
right,
like it's good to do things that are hard, but it's not necessarily it's not productive, effective to make it harder than it has to be.
right,
So if there are things that you can utilize to be more effective in the things that you apply yourself to every day,
right.
utilize them.
Exactly, exactly.
And you know, CES is one of those things.
Right,
But I would say that no matter what we're talking about,
right.
don't make life harder than it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, working hard is great. Doing hard things is great.
Right.
But let's show up for that in the best way possible so that we're not wasting energy where it doesn't need to be applied.
Right, right. And as leaders, we are
Yeah.
leading people. And so, how are we teaching our teams to manage if we're inconsistent, if we're not executing calmly? Like, it's a disaster for our businesses all the way around.
Yeah, well, but I like, you know, I said before, like I love what you're doing is that you're normalizing the need to take care of yourself among leaders, and you know, in my business, I've normalized wearing this.
Yeah,
You know, like if people my staff feels comfortable, I'll sometimes they'll go out and I'll see someone will be wearing it.
right.
We don't ask questions, you know, because it's a good thing, you know. Great,
Exactly.
I'm glad that it's there, and to normalize things like that.
Yes.
And especially among leaders, like you talk about high functioning individuals is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And I love the way that you talk about like you take it with you everywhere. You use,
Yes.
you know, meaning you're always attending to your emotional health,
Right.
your emotional wellness. And
Yes.
that's really what that is. And I love that you're normalizing that and
Yes.
letting that be more visible.
Yes. Those of you who are coming, you will see me
Mhm.
with my device, and not because something is wrong.
No.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something is wrong. Just for me, I know if I'm about to hit the stage, I need to regulate before I hit the stage.
Yeah,
I
well,
want part.
that's you know, the best time to address a problem is before it becomes a big problem,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
the best time to attend to yourself is
Right.
before it becomes a crisis.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So they'll see me walking around. Only thing I said, I need to give me a little pouch to hold it.
Yes, yes, I
Maybe
know,
we
yes,
need to
that would be
design a
great.
pouch toner
Mhm,
together, like for our
mhm,
devices, because we
I
want this
know,
thing global. We want it in every household. But it's
mhm,
normalized for me. When I'm on my morning walk in the morning, it's
good
on.
for you.
I may have my AirPod in one ear, but sometimes I have this because that's when my best ideas are coming. Some of this stuff
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
see that's so
People have
outlandish,
said that.
I'm
Yeah,
calm.
people have said that they when they put it on and when they need to make important decisions and they actually feel like they're able to make better decisions, they're able to think
Yes.
more clearly in those moments, and I love that. I
Yes.
love that because all there's so many important things that we're all doing, and I love that
Right.
other people are doing their tasks, their missions from a
Exactly.
more true to the mission state.
Exactly, exactly. And when we talk about influence, I've always said for me, influence is how I impact people and that transformation that happens when
Mhm.
I leave their presence. This helps me be more intentional about my effect on other people because we don't realize sometimes we affect other people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like people's emotions can be kind of infectious, you know. You can
Yes.
I work really hard. Like in what I do, I can't take on other people's emotions, so I've
Right.
really developed very intentional set of emotional boundaries. Um, and this can be a tool that can be helpful with that. Like if you've got, this chaos around you and stuff, to be able to maintain your own
Right.
emotional state is really important. And it
Right.
sounds like that's been very helpful for you, which I
Yes,
love.
very helpful. I talk about that whole little meme with the dog that's sitting at the table drinking coffee and the fire is going all around him. That's me. It's like, okay, let me sip my coffee and strategize as to how I'm going to put this fire, because the fire is there, Tana. It's
Uh-huh.
there.
Yeah, but we don't need to be picking up things that don't belong to us.
Right.
Some things it doesn't belong to me, and I can show up for another person and be a cheerleader and be
Right.
compassionate and hold space for them, but I don't need to be taking that on myself because I can't. It's some things are just not my task.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And we have to learn that so clearly, as I feel like women leaders. Men know how to put it down. We don't.
Yeah. I mean, my husband is probably the more emotional one between us, but it looks different in men, like
Yeah,
the
that's
expression of
true.
emotion. It'll show up more as aggression because that's
Yeah.
sometimes more socially acceptable,
Right.
at least that's how it appears. But the emotions are the same. It's just the way that it looks, the way it shows up can be
Right.
different. But we're all feeling the same things, just
Yeah,
it
that's true.
shows differently.
Right, that's true. Oh my gosh, Tana, you and I always have the best conversations. Even when we just talk on the phone as girlfriends, we always just have the best conversation. You and I are going to have our own the regulated founders conversation at conference. Y'all need to get in the room. This conversation is going to be so good because Tana and I are going to be asking each other questions. It is not about just this one-sided conversation, which I'm so excited about. And again, we have a giveaway. Devices, let's just say furniture you could actually win.
I
Okay.
know. I just like Keisha said, don't give away too much. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I can't do that. Like
We
I can't.
can't do that. Again, because we're hype and excited, so it's kind of hard for us. And like, even when
Yeah.
our teams have been going back and forth sharing stuff, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, I have to say like pink fuzzy.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, yes.
And bling.
Y'all gonna love it. So get y'all tickets, get in the room. You get to talk to Tana, see more about the device. Y'all, this is the place you want to be. Bring a friend, grab somebody, say, come on, girl. Come on, come with me. We need to go have
Give
fun.
me
So
two
Tana,
friends. Yep.
yes, yes. So Tana, tell everyone how they can get connected with you.
Yeah. I mean, you go to my website, of course, neurovanacalm.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Tana Young, Tana_Young FNPC on Instagram. Those are the main, and then of course Neurovana Calm on Instagram also. You can't escape me, LaKisha.
Right. Listen, and I'm gonna
Where
tag you
where
in
can
this.
you not find me? That's
Right?
get rid of
That
me.
we want them to be so tapped in, Tana, that
Uh-huh.
they're like, okay, I know it by heart. Like we need them tapped in for sure, for sure.
Totally. Yeah, they're not going to be able to escape this, right?
Not at all. Thank you so much for
Thank
spending
you.
time with me tonight. This was so much fun, as always. This was so much fun, and I am looking forward to seeing you next weekend. We're going to have such a great time.
Agreed. Thank you so much, LaKisha.
Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all have a good night.